A couple of days ago, I put a poll on my community tab asking you guys what video you wanted me to release next, and the one that won by an overwhelming majority was ranking manufacturers' best roller coasters. Now, the original plan for this video was just to use Captain Coaster, and I'm still going to do that, but we're going to be ranking these roller coasters based on my personal experience as well as Captain Coaster. So ultimately what's going to end up happening is for each manufacturer, I'll tell you what my favorite roller coaster from that manufacturer is, and then I'll also tell you what Captain Coaster's manufacturer is. And if you don't know what Captain Coaster is by now, it's a crowdsourced project where you can log in and rate coasters. Once it has those rankings, it creates a worldwide ranking leaderboard. And this leaderboard is based on the average opinion of everyone who has ever rated a roller coaster on there. There are two rules that I want to put in place here to make sure we don't have any one-hit wonder manufacturers or unfair rankings. One of those rules is, a manufacturer has to have made at least 3 roller coasters. If they made anything less than that, then they won't be eligible to be ranked in this video. Also, in order for a manufacturer to be ranked, I have to have ridden at least 2 of their roller coasters. With those 2 simple rules in place, I was actually able to weed out a lot of manufacturers that no one even really knows anyway. The only manufacturer of any kind of importance that won't be ranked in this video is the Din Corporation. Also, these manufacturers will not be ranked based on how much I like their best roller coaster or how much Captain Coaster likes their best roller coaster. These manufacturers are going to be ranked based on how many credits from that manufacturer I have, from least to most. Even after doing that filter, we still have about 30 manufacturers to rank, so just like my ranking European countries and my United States, this video will be split into 2 parts. Before we get into the actual numbered rankings, there are 2 big groups of manufacturers where I've only ridden a couple of their coasters. So they're all going to be lumped together into one category. And we're going to start with the group of 2s. The group of 2s is effectively exactly what the name sounds like. The group of 2s consists of 4 manufacturers that I've only ridden 2 of their roller coasters. And we're going to start the group of 2s off with the first manufacturer, Giovanola. My favorite roller coaster from Giovanola is Titan at Six Flags over Texas. Giovanola has only made 3 coasters, so this manufacturer barely even qualifies for the list to begin with. Even though there are only 3 coasters under this manufacturer's name, my personal favorite Giovanola is not Captain Coaster's favorite Giovanola. That honor goes to the coaster Anaconda at Gold Reef City. First half of the layout follows very similar to how a Batman clone rides. Only when you get to the second half does it deviate from the normal Batman the Ride clone, and also includes some rock work in there, so it looks pretty cool. Our second manufacturer in the group of 2s is Hopkins. My pick for Hopkins is of course going to be Desert Storm at Castles and Coasters in Phoenix, Arizona. From personal experience, I will say this is one of the weirder coasters I've been on. It almost feels like a Schwarzkopf, but not quite. The ride also doesn't even have air gates, so you can just walk into the station and get on the ride, which is what I did, because the ride operator wasn't even in the station. Desert Storm's a really unique credit in the sense that Hopkins doesn't make too many rides and they've retired from coasters long ago. Luckily for me, my opinion is validated because Desert Storm is also the #1 pick for Captain Coaster when it comes to Hopkins rides. Our third manufacturer in the group of 2s is a wildcard manufacturer for sure. It is the King's Entertainment Company. And my pick for the King's Entertainment Company is Grizzly at King's Dominion. I've only been on 2 King's Entertainment Company coasters, and the other one is in California's Great America, also known as Grizzly. The one in California is significantly worse than the one in King's Dominion, so I'll be giving it to this one. Looking back at it, I should have set a rule for this, but it's too late now. When I go and filter roller coasters on the worldwide leaderboard based on manufacturer and I select King's Entertainment Company, there are actually no results to show. So I guess King's Entertainment Company doesn't get an entry from Captain Coaster, but that's okay. I can talk about Grizzly a little bit more. Gravity Group did wonders for this ride. The reprofiling and retrack made this ride significantly better. It's a really good night ride. It's smooth now. There's actually airtime on some of the hills, especially the one going through the tunnel, and the best part is it never gets a line. So if you're at King's Dominion and everything has a line, make sure to head over to Grizzly and get your rides in because this is a really easy ride to marathon. And our final manufacturer in the group of 2 is Setpoint. My pick being Roller Soaker at Hershey Park. This is a long defunct roller coaster and it's not even that good, but it's my only option I have for set point other than Pterodon Flyers, and that also kind of sucks. Roller Soaker at least had the novelty of dumping water on guests. It had an interactive element where guests can shoot water at the riders and the rider can dump water on them. It's almost like a water battle between the riders and the onlookers. If you took the water element away from this ride, it would just be a boring monorail that meanders around on a track. I didn't get to ride Minecart Madness at Universal Epic Universe because the line was way too long. But it doesn't matter because that isn't even the #1 set point coaster on Captain Coaster. That honor goes to the original Minecart Madness at Universal Studios Japan. Even if the ride experience itself isn't that amazing, the theming is great. I want to say that a lot of people love Donkey Kong, probably more so than people who don't. So this theming appeals to a very large and broad audience. It's great for families even if it isn't the smoothest ride out there. And because it's the original, I see why it ranks the highest for set point. That concludes the Group of 2 segment. And if you like that, we're moving on to another group called the Group of 3s. It's effectively the Group of 2s, but instead it's a group of manufacturers in which I've only ridden 3 of their coasters. And for this Group of 3s, there are actually 6 manufacturers in this group. With that being said, we're going to start with the company of Weekend. The 3 coasters I've ridden by Weekend vary in quality, I will say. I've been on the mountain coaster in Branson, right by Silver Dollar City, the Mustang Mountain Coaster in Estes Park, Colorado, but my pick for Weekend is the Rocky Top Mountain Coaster in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. I want to start off by saying waiting for this ride was actually very fun. And this is probably the one and only time you're going to hear me say that. If you've never been on this ride or this doesn't happen on a regular occurrence, when I was waiting in line for this ride, the queue line had a DJ blasting music. Not only was a DJ playing music, but he was also tossing beach balls out to all of us waiting in line so we can pass it around to other people waiting in line with us. Just these few simple things turned what felt like waiting in line to, oh, I'm just at a nightclub now. And that was a really cool touch that no other roller coaster has ever done before in my experience. Once you finally do get on the ride, you'll find that there's a lot of things to look at. There's a lot of props, a lot of scenery. On top of all of the props and scenery that look good, the ride has a very long duration. You don't feel cheated. It's a satisfying ride experience. It gives you everything you want in a roller coaster like this, and I had no complaints about it. Surprisingly to me, this was not the #1 coaster from Wiegen on Captain Coaster. That honor goes to, and I'm gonna butcher this, Monte Coaster. This is a German alpine coaster that, if I'm being honest, does not look anywhere near as good as Rocky Top Mountain Coaster, but I've never been on it, so I can't really speak for that. But this is what people collectively agree is the #1 mountain coaster from Wiegen, which is just alright. I mean, you do you, I guess. Our next manufacturer in the group of 3s is William Cobb, and my favorite coaster from them is Judge Roy Scream at Six Flags Over Texas, and this seems to be an incredibly unpopular opinion, and I'm okay with that. I personally enjoy it. I don't find the ride overly rough, and there is some airtime on it, and it's a great ride for families. I really would have liked to see this be the #1 William Cobb coaster on Captain Coaster, but unfortunately, that is not. That honor goes to Tornado at Adventureland, another ride I've never been to at a park I've never even seen in a state that I've never stepped foot in. Just because Tornado at Adventureland is the best coaster to come from William Cobb, according to Captain Coaster, that doesn't mean it has a high ranking. It is ranked number 901 worldwide, so I'm guessing people are just hating on William Cobb for the love of the game at this point. Our next manufacturer in the group of 3s is Chance Rides, and this was a very easy pick for me. My pick is Lightning Run at Kentucky Kingdom, and this is also Captain Coaster's pick. This ride packs an extreme layout in a small footprint, multiple powerful ejector airtime hills. For people who are new to roller coasters or haven't heard much about Lightning Run, you might assume that this is a family ride. While it sort of kind of is just because it's not that tall, it provides a thrill coaster experience in a family coaster size. Our next manufacturer in the group of 3s is John Miller, and my pick for this is Thunderbolt at Kennywood. Thunderbolt is the definition of a terrain coaster. The way it dips in and out of the valley and trenches, the natural terrain that Kennywood sits on, is honestly very creative. Another one where you don't feel cheated on your ride experience. There is good airtime on this ride, and it is a pretty thrilling experience overall considering its smaller size. Captain Coaster's pick still is at Kennywood with Jackrabbit. I was considering considering putting Jackrabbit as my favorite pick, but I ultimately picked Thunderbolt because it is a longer ride. That double down going into the valley, once you hit that second hill on the double down, it feels like you're going to fly out the ride and not be with us anymore. Our penultimate manufacturer in the group of threes is Custom Coasters International, better known as CCI, and this is another easy, no-brainer pick for me. That is Ghost Rider at Knott's Berry Farm. Not only was it an easy pick for me, it was an easy pick for Captain Coaster as well, because that is also the #1 CCI on Captain Coaster. Ghost Rider just doesn't focus on airtime alone, it also provides a lot of heavy laterals, which I love a lot. It's also not a rough ride at all, it's extremely smooth, and the first half and the second half of Ghost Rider feel like completely different rides. Ghost Rider places just outside of my top 10 personal coasters overall. It is that good. And finally, we've made it to our last manufacturer in the group of threes, and our last manufacturer before we actually start attaching numbers to these rankings, and that is Pinfari. I've been on at least 3 of their rides, but I kind of just hate all of them. I hate everything Pinfari has ever made, so I refuse to put anything here. But Captain Coaster did pick a favorite Pinfari, and that is Bat Coaster. I've never heard of this. I don't know what it is. It doesn't even look good. Yeah, there you go. It just Pinfari's trash. Alright, we're finally done with the group of threes. Now we can finally move on and attach numbers to these rankings, because moving forward, every single manufacturer, except for a couple of them, are in their own spot, and I generally have more coaster credits under each manufacturer. I swear, I promise, this is the last 3-way tie you'll see, but I'm still going to attach numbers to these ones anyway, because we're getting up into the big dogs. I've ridden a couple more of these rides. So we're going into number 14. We have a 3-way tie, and we're going to start with Morgan. This is another extremely easy pick with Phantom's Revenge at Kennywood. Steel Eel at SeaWorld San Antonio is a good ride, but it does not come anywhere close to Phantom's Revenge, and how well that ride uses its terrain, how powerful the ending hills are with ejector, and just overall sense of speed you get careening down that valley. I can't say I've ever ridden a coaster anything like this, so for that reason, it was a no-brainer to pick it, and of course Captain Coaster chose this as well for the best Morgan, and it's not hard to see why. It's an incredible ride, super re-rideable. If it doesn't have a long line, I recommend you marathon it, but you'll be hard-pressed to see it without a line. Our second manufacturer at number 14 is Gravity Group. My pick for this is Boardwalk Bullet at the Kima Boardwalk. Boardwalk Bullet is smooth, and it also never seems to end. This ride just keeps going on and on and on, weaving in and out of the structure, and this thing is a lot smaller than it looks. When you're pulling up to this boardwalk, this thing is just one big hulking structure of wood. It might be even intimidating for some people, but the ride experience is great. One of the best boardwalk coasters out there. Captain Coaster has picked something that I personally haven't been on, so I can't say it's my favorite, and that is Voyage at Holiday World, and I knew this would be Captain Coaster's #1 Gravity Group. For the longest time, coaster enthusiasts have been talking about Voyage in high esteem, praising its extremely long ride duration, its thrilling layout, and its setting through the woods. I really do want to ride Voyage. Oh yeah, that's right, I will be riding Voyage this summer in about 4 weeks. I'll be taking a road trip to Indiana to finally ride a roller coaster that I've heard so much about. You have no idea. And our final manufacturer at number 14, breaking the 3-way tie, is Reverchon. My pick for this is Exterminator at Kennywood, and that is also Captain Coaster's #1 pick. Reverchon really only made spinning Wild Mouse coasters, so I mean this one was also kind of easy. I mean, you have a bunch of unthemed spinning mouse coasters, and then you have this one themed to rats in a sewer or something. It's masterfully done when you really think about it. This ride must not be too much to maintain, considering as spider webs build up in all the corners and debris builds up on the floor, they can just chalk it up to theming. Seriously, when I rode Exterminator 3 years ago, I couldn't tell if the cobwebs on the walls were supposed to be there or not. And that's honestly the best part about it. The mystery behind it all. You're a rat in a sewer trying to escape exterminators. That's cool. At number 13, we have Mauer. making up 5 of my credits. My favorite Mauer being Rip Ride Rocket, which is now defunct, unfortunately. This ride was pretty polarizing in the coaster community, considering you either hated it or you loved it. You either thought it was rough and the mid-course brake runs were problematic and annoying, or you didn't find it that rough and you found enjoyment in the mid-course brake runs with the airtime you would get coming in and out of them. I was that person. I enjoyed the mid-course brake runs and the almost ejector airtime you would get popping in and out of them. Granted, the music selection started sucking towards the end of this ride's life, where you only had like one song to pick from each genre, but even then, listening to music on a roller coaster is still pretty fun. Which is why it's surprising to me that Rip Ride Rocket isn't the #1 coaster on Captain Coaster. Maybe it's because of how polarizing it is, but that title goes to Shock. And if I had to be honest, I didn't think this was a Mauer coaster at first. I found out about Shock while I was doing research for my ranking the European countries based on their best coaster, and it honestly looked good, but I didn't know it was Mauer. So if you've been on it, let me know how it is, because I really don't know much about this ride. Moving on to our 12th spot, we have Schwarzkopf, making up 9 of my credits. My pick being Shockwave at Six Flags Over Texas. This is another hot take, I guess, because when I did my review of Over Texas, there were comments saying that Shockwave sucked. I wouldn't go as far to say Shockwave sucks. It has its place in the lineup. The loops provide insanely powerful positive Gs that will make you gray out. I don't care how Timmy Tough Knuckles you are, you're still going to gray out on this. Also, there is one good moment of ejector if you're sitting in the front, that weirdly profiled hill. I'm probably showing it on screen right now. Hopefully I am. That one, yeah, that one gives airtime. That being said, Captain Coaster disagrees with me, and they say that, I'm gonna butcher this one too. Test Recce, I probably said that wrong, I'm sorry. When you look at it, it basically, I don't even know how to describe this thing. It kind of looks like Scorpion at Busch Gardens Tampa, just with 2 loops instead of 1. Moving on to our 11th spot and the last manufacturer featured in this video, we have Gerstlauer, making up 10 of my credits. My pick being TMNT Shellraiser at Nickelodeon Universe at the American Dream Mall in New Jersey. If you've been on this ride, and if you can get past some of the potholes that this ride has, in general, not so pleasant rattling here and there, you'll find that this is a top 20 coaster. Maybe. I don't know. It depends on who you ask. But if you ask me, it is, because it is in my top 20. I can forgive the potholes and the less than smooth ride experience because this ride does everything. This ride starts with a heartline roll after dropping out of the station, followed by the most powerful rolling launch I've ever experienced. That powerful rolling launch sends you into an exciting inversion-filled layout. Once you hit the brake run, you realize that you're not actually done.
We're not done! We're not done! We're not done! We're not done!
You still have a vertical lift to climb and go down the world's steepest drop. If you put this at a major outdoor park, it would do great, and it has been done before. TMNT Shellraiser is a near clone of Takabisha at Fuji-Q Highland, and that ride does pretty well for itself. All of this glaze I'm giving Shellraiser, but it's not the #1 Gerstlauer on Captain Coaster. That title goes to Karnan. I do know some things about Karnan, so I'm not going to spoil it too much, but in short, Karnan wins because of the layout, the immersive theming, and that first drop being completely enclosed in the dark. It does look like a good ride, and everyone who has ridden it puts it highly in their ranking, some even putting it in their top 15. And if I did ride Karnan, I probably would say the same thing. That is a wrap on part 1 of ranking every manufacturer's best coaster. More so showcasing the best roller coaster made from each manufacturer, my opinion, mixed with Captain Coaster's opinion in case you don't like my opinion. If you want to see part 2, then I recommend you subscribe and turn that bell on so you don't miss it. It will be coming out sooner rather than later. I want to get a quick turnaround on this so I can immediately turn around and finish editing my long-awaited ranking Asian countries by their best coaster. Until then, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in part 2.